So good morning. Welcome to day 3 of week 5 of Urban Agoge. So personally speaking, I think this morning's run was the most challenging one yet. So it was run fast for 1 minute, run slow for 2 minutes, repeat 5 times. So it's a full 15 minutes of, upscale jogging. And I wasn't looking forward to it. However, in that 15 minutes, I covered 1.36 miles, which doesn't sound all that impressive, but it's just like a couple of 100 yards off passing the army physical, the entrance selection thing. I mean, you have to do other stuff as well. You have to not be a numpty, You have to be able to carry stuff. You have to be able to do sit-ups, and you have to be in good health. But that's where they want you. And if you ever decide to join the armed forces or the Army Reserve or any of the reserve forces, if you want to get into the military, and anywhere in the UK, you've got to be able to run 1.5 miles in 15 minutes. And this is why they issued the Army training course, the Army Fit course, because they don't. If you turn up to a selection day or a selection weekend and you can't do that, they'll just ship you straight home. No goodbye, nothing. So it behooves you, if you want to do something like that, to look into what their minimum requirements are and surpass them. Ideally, if you've got a few months before you're planning on joining the armed forces or the police or the firefighters or anything like that, the Army Fit course will get you in shape for most of it. So yeah, that's that done. I was dreading it. So I didn't even get a stitch. It was just 15 minutes of effort. That's it. 15 minutes of effort. Now, weirdly, Mondays and Fridays tend to be the toughest, I find. We've got like the gym session on Friday, and I've got a 20-minute jog stroke walk, which is interesting because I think if you had a goal in mind, this is the Friday of the 3rd week of the Army course. It'll be the Friday of the 5th week, I think, my time. So that'll be this Friday. So there's gym work and a 20-minute walk jog, but I think you'd probably be competing with yourself, knowing that the following week is a timed 1.5 mile run, where ideally, I hope you're outperforming me. I'm nearly 50. After 4 or 5 weeks of Urban Agoge, you should be making me look stupid. But for a 40-plus-year-old in the armed forces, they need to be able to run that 1.5 miles in 15 minutes. So I've gone from nothing, Captain Couch Potato with his pizzas and his ice cream, sitting around not getting any real exercise apart from at work, to nearly fit enough to join the army in just over 2.5 weeks of the Army Fit course. But I needed that couple of weeks of just wandering about in the woods and doing the odd few sit-ups and press-ups. I needed that in order to really get myself used to being outside, get the getting out the door thing done and habit formed. So I go out every morning. Every morning I go for a wander. Every morning I upload a video to you guys. Sometimes it's 2 if there's a gym session, because I'm not entirely sure you need or feel overly curious about watching that. That's just me proving to you that I'm doing what I'm saying I'm doing. It's like a documentary. So hopefully in a few months I'll be able to look back on that and say, right, okay, yeah, I've lost a lot of weight. If I keep losing weight at the same rate I've been, even if I just lost 0.5 kilo a week for 16 weeks, that's 8 kilos, 20 odd pounds. That brings me much more in line with my weight per height thing. Although a lot more of that's going to be muscle. So how do you know? But yeah, so I'm feeling good. This is the first time post-run I've felt really good. And I haven't had a cigarette in about an hour. How's that? So maybe that's going to come together as well. I can get the quitting smoking done. So it really is a case of make your domain initially small and make that domain perfect before you expand it out into the world. So get me fit, get me well nourished, get me in shape, make the house in better shape, my finances. It's time to put on the crown of Kingdom Zach, which is what you should be doing, you know. Not that I like shoulds, but who else is going to be in control of your life? Won't it be interesting, you know, what can I do once I'm, you know, essentially Batman compared to my 4 month ago self? You know, today I didn't just sort of like, you know, wail on, you know, month ago me. I wailed on yesterday me. And I'm going to keep wailing on yesterday me, you know, every chance I get, because I really didn't think I was going to be able to do that. I thought I would break. I nearly did, but I carried on. I didn't drop below a jog. I mean, the fast running wasn't all that fast, as you can tell from the time. But I was out there doing it, nailing it down, beating me. I beat Monday me, you know, just in physical endurance and being able to tough it out and get it done. I was faster than Monday me. I beat psychological yesterday me, you know, and now today me is hopefully going to get wailed on by Friday me when I do this run. As Grandmaster Flash says, got to keep your eye on the future but remain in the past. For those of you who watch the Get Down. So yeah, now I have heard, and it is just rumour and supposition at this point, that there is an alternative thing to do with water from my mate Dean. Hello Dean. So he says you should drink a couple of glasses of water first thing in the morning, a glass of water before you go to bed, one when you wake up, and one before each meal. I don't think that means like 500ml glasses. I think we're talking probably whiskey tumblers at this point. But as I've found, you can't, as long as you drink when you're thirsty, you can't have too much water. If you're thirsty all the time, you probably want to get checked out for things like diabetes. So yes, I have got a packed morning this morning. So yeah, outside of this is how motivated you can be from the depressed me of 4.5 weeks ago, this is how up you can become. You know, how much more you're going to get your crap together. Even if all you're doing is thinking about yourself in the future. Like the making your bed thing, it's lovely to get into a made bed. Especially if you're like me, you know, I'm single. So I spend, you know, if I don't make it, no one's going to make it for me. You know, if you prepare a lot of food and you get in from work and you're like, oh, I can't be bothered to cook, and then you remember you've got a bunch of pre-made food in the fridge that's nutritious and good for you and is only going to take 5 minutes to heat up. That's a good feeling, you know. Especially if you're in the pit situation where there isn't really anybody that looks after you. You know, take a little bit of time out of your day, like 5 minutes or so, and prep in a way that benefits you. That's all. Just do it. Keep pushing away at it. You know, and yes, if you are very depressed and life is acting extremely crappy, then yeah, it's harder to get out that door. I'm telling you, fix number one. Get out the goddamn door. Even if your first step is to walk out the door, eyeball the street, and go no, and go back inside. And then give it some serious thought about getting further than your doorstep next time, on the next day. But it's an everyday thing, you know. It's like a lot of people say when they've climbed out of depression, every day was a struggle. You know, that's just your brain being flabby. You know, do you think people could afford to get super depressed in the Stone Age. You know, how long would that have lasted? Got shit to do. It's a lot of it, you know. I wonder how much of, you know, what we're suffering from is because we can just, if we want to, just sit around and not do anything very much. You know, we can work in an office job, come home, plonk ourselves down on a sofa, and that's it. But if you're working in an office job to get the money to have a decent life, why aren't you, when you're not there, having a decent life? I mean, that's why, you know, that's certainly why I've been depressed in the past. Just the monotonous grind, the nothing being achieved, the looking into your future and seeing decades of coming to work, doing work that you hate, going home. Okay, it's all right to hate your job. I quite like mine, to be honest, but I've been in jobs I've hated, quite a lot of them, where I've hated everything and most of the people about it. Fortunately, I've met a few people that have kept me sane in various jobs, so hello to you all. Hello to the crew at Fridays, because, yeah, they're an alright bunch of people, if I'm going to be brutally honest. There are worse people to work with than I've worked with them. I've worked with some complete dickheads. And you know who you are, if you're watching this. But anyway, so, this is my point, you know. Unless you're making the time outside of work livable, then you are. There is no way a relatively intelligent human can be anything other than impressed. You never meet stupid people that are depressed. That's what I'm saying. You know, if you've had bouts of depression, that's because you've got enough imagination to see that your shit ain't getting any better anytime soon. And that's true for a lot of the times. You know, we work crappy jobs. You know, if you don't do something outside of it that makes you happier, you know, you're going to have a crap life. So you need to build that thing. You need to build that thing. You want to do something where you look at someone and you think they're doing that, I admire that. You're the same stock. You can go do it. Maybe not as well, but you can definitely go do it. Which is why I make YouTube videos. Because I don't make brilliant TV, but I do make TV. You know, there are some people who watch it. It's good enough for me. I'm like, you know, I always dreamed of being in a tiny little radio station in the middle of nowhere, or a tiny little TV station that only had like 100 viewers. And I've done it. Go and be on community radio if you want to perform. And that's an interesting thing to do every week. Turning up for a radio show, being, you know, up and excited and shit, even though your life's falling apart. It's quite a big thing. So yeah, life is. It just is. But most of us are depressed about our jobs. I know a few of you out there, you know, do vocations where you're doing something you're actually super interested in, and that's great. But you've also still, even if you're doing a job you love, you've got to still make some time where you're looking after yourself, even if it's only 10 minutes a day. Because if you don't, and you don't improve how well you look after yourself over time, then depression can just like instantly sweep you away and just wash you down. And I know if you're in the depths of depression, this ain't going to mean anything. And if you are, I'm sorry. Been there, I know it sucks. Been right on the black edge of just going, oh, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. But my new rule for when I feel like that is wait 3 days. Just drag yourself through the next 3 days and then look at previous you. Are you feeling slightly better than previous you? And I wish I'd known, I wish I'd watched the Joe Rogan and Jocko Willink inspirational vid. Wish I'd found that a lot earlier, because I might have got out of the door 20 years ago. Well, it wasn't around then, but I might have got out the door a couple of years ago, and that would have still been better. But yeah, I understand. But I am telling you, it's better to get out the door than not. And I know it's a pretty heavy trip. I know people have got some seriously bad shit wrong with their lives, like a Jeremy Kyle amount of crap wrong with their lives. But if you were just going to lie on the sofa all afternoon, before you lie down, go for a 10-minute walk, preferably somewhere very green and woodlandy, if you can. Or get out into the desert. Or, just get outside. Walk to the shops and back. Walk to the shops in order to buy yourself a single treat and walk back. Do that every day. Go to Poundland or something. Walk to a shop where you can cheaply buy yourself a treat and walk back before you have the treat. How's that? Go and buy yourself a piece of fruit or an ice cream or anything. It doesn't matter how healthy it is. Go and buy a pizza. Fuck it. I did it. Oh yeah. That's it. Anyway. That's all I got to say this morning. I'm absolutely cream crackered. So, thanks for watching. And do take care.